Welcome back to the Warframe Beginner's Guide series, and it is finally time for me to take you through how to specifically get your Prime Warframes. Prime Warframes come as drops from Void Relic missions. You'll have done some of these as a part of the opening up of all the different planets through the junctions and stuff anyway. But to view all of the relics that are actually available in the game, you need to come back to this little relic segment of the ship that we have right at the back here. When we activate this, you'll see mostly at the top the relics that you have. Of course, on the top left side here, you are able to select them by the different eras. These are effectively different tiers of relics. So Lith relics, for example, if you run these, are going to be much lower level than if you run an Axi level. Okay, so this is just basically like a tier system within the game. Requiem relics, we'll talk about those much later on. We are only interested in these first four tiers right now. When you look at this, it really doesn't tell you that much until you press on it, and then we can actually see on the side here which parts it is you can get from that one specific relic. Now, if you just want to do this random, you can just keep on running missions and get some random stuff in there. But realistically speaking, what you want to do is go into your search bar and find the specific item it is that you might be looking for. So let's say you want to find Wisp Prime. Come on over back to all, and then we can type in Wisp, and that is going to bring up all of the relics that have ever had Wisp in there. Now, note that some Warframes and therefore relics get vaulted, so it is possible that there is a Warframe maybe that you can't get right now. I can't think of one off the top of my head that maybe people want, like Mess or something like this. I'll leave a link in the description to Tenno for Life, which seems to have a fairly accurate list of vaulted primes and unvaulted primes, so you know what you can and can't get from the relics that you can currently get from the relics that are in the game. But right now, Wisp is something that's available, and so we are able to go and farm Wisp. You can see at the top left, we have the relics that we actually already have on us, and then these ones that are grayed out are ones that we don't in fact have, and would have to go out and farm if we want to continue looking for Wisp. You can also see just here we have the 3 different rarities. So let's say, for example, I wanted this Hildren Prime part, you would actually just run this as a natural relic. But you can see as well as that we have these as the common drops, we have the uncommon drops and the rare. And down at the bottom here, we are able to actually modify the drop chance of some of the mods by adding in void traces. Now we'll go over this in a second. Void traces are actually gained by completing missions with the relics. So if I was going to start farming Wisp Prime, we can start looking at things such as, which is the common part? Usually there is a more common piece to get. So you might start with Axi here in this specific example and get the systems first, because that's going to start dropping you some extra void traces that you can use on the other relic tiers to make this a little bit easier for yourself, which is probably what I'm going to do later on today. Where do you get these relics from? There are a few different places. I'm probably going to do a how to get relics video directly after this one because I prefer to keep my videos fairly short. But if you just want to grab a load, I reckon the quickest way is to come into the offerings from your syndicate and just pile a load of standing into here, and this is just going to allow you to start powering through a bunch of relics. The cool thing about this is you're likely to get a little bit of Aya as well, so you'll actually be able to purchase some specific relics. So we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to do that as a part of this video, because I had one drop there. That's 2 Aya as well. And of course, you can obviously cap this out and get plenty. If you need even more, you can actually do this with the syndicates that are in the open worlds as well, if you already have those ranked up. Okay, so being as we actually got a little bit of Aya there, we might as well go ahead and head into Maru's Bazaar so I can show you where to spend those. You can farm them, but I don't think I recommend farming Aya specifically. Like, they're useful, as you can see, because we're going to be able to get some specific relics. But I feel like you're just better off farming relics rather than trying to farm Aya, or using your actual standing to get the relic packs so that you can actually get what you want out of what you're doing. So once you're in Maru's Bazaar, what you want to do is head on over to Varzia right here. She's right in here like this, and then we can browse wares. All of these stuff here that have these like colorful looking coins, these are basically available for money, so we're not going to be talking about those. But what we can get a little bit further down, so as you scroll down, then you'll be able to see that we have some relics here specifically that we can purchase for the Aya. And unfortunately for me right now, there are not any extra ones that we can get Wisp from, which is perfectly fine. Once you have relics that contain the parts of the Warframe that you want to get, what you want to do, you want to come over to the map, and this works best if you have all of the different areas of the game open, which is why I've put this fairly late in my guide series, because if you start trying to farm like a Warframe, let's say you've only opened up to Mars, almost every Warframe has a part that's in the Axi era, which is like an area of the map, basically Eris or Pluto-ish and beyond. So if you don't have half of the system open anyway, you're going to find it very difficult to do this, unless you find someone that's going to carry you through the missions. tutorials, but all of my videos are aimed at if you're just going to do this yourself and you're going to do it the proper way. Let's go over to the Void Fissures tab, and this is where you're going to find all of the places that you can go ahead and use your relics. Now, I saw that my easiest part to get was going to be on an Axie mission, so I'm going to run this capture here. I'm going to type Wisp into my list, and I'm going to run this A7. I've only got one, so I get one roll at this. If I'm lucky, we'll see. And we're basically going to run this mission as normal. There is one main difference. That is, as we progress through the game, we're going to get these fissures that appear as we're going through. And what you need to really be trying to do is take down these enemies that are having this kind of glow around them. These are going to drop your void tracers, okay? Or in mission, they're called reactant. But basically, this is what's going to get you your void tracers. And you are going to need a total of 10 of those before you finish the mission. Otherwise, you have basically wasted the mission. You're going to have to do it again. Obviously, we're going to accomplish the objective right here, and then we're going to go ahead and continue taking down these glowy looking enemies. Okay, we don't want to leave until that's done. All right then, so as you're going to see right here, once you have hit 10 reactant, you're going to get a big thing flashes up on the screen. You're going to get a benefit as well, so we have a temporary buff. But realistically, all we want to do now is extract and see what prize we get. So in my case, unfortunately, I got a former blueprint. Usually you'll get a choice, but that choice only comes up obviously if there's a group. And I also got a load of void tracers, which I can now use on a relic. What I'm going to say is it is way better to run this as a group. And so that's going to be the next thing that we do. When you finish a fissure mission as a group, you're going to find that instead of just getting given whatever you're given, you can then go ahead and choose from the list and take the one that you want. To compound this, what you should do if you're after something very specific, so in my case with the Wisp Warframe, what I would recommend is going over to the recruiting tab, typing in or looking for somebody that is doing a Rad share. This is a radiant share. So upgrade a version of the relic that is going to be relevant to the Warframe that you're looking for. So in my case, I would say looking for, so LF, the squared bracket, I don't know what the real name for that is, Meso W3 Rad share. And what you're going to look to do is join a squad of people that all have the same type of relic, and that's going to obviously give you the best possible chance on any individual mission to get the loot that you are looking for, and in my case to get the very nice golden wisp parts. Now then, as a last resort, if you have been farming something for ages, the next thing that we can do is take any golden part that drops. So keep on running fissures, and technically speaking, you can do this with any relics that you have, and just look for some rare parts. Once you have a few, what you want to do is you want to go to a website called the Warframe Market, right? So www.warframe.market, and that is going to allow you to trade parts, okay? So let's say in my case, I ran a fissure and got a Chroma Prime Neuroptics to drop. What I can actually do is go on over, I can see that Chroma Prime Neuroptics can be sold for around 22 platinum, right? I can get 20 platinum for a Chroma Prime Neuroptics. And then let's say I need the Wisp Blueprint because maybe I'm missing this. I can go Wisp Prime Blueprint, and I can see that's also currently selling for around 20 to 25. So what I can do is I can take that Chroma Prime part, I can put it on Warframe Marketplace, just wait for somebody to want it and I'll sell it. That means I can go do something else actually while I'm waiting, which is the best part of this, right? So we're doubling what we're doing with our time. And then I can basically exchange that through the Platinum system to get the part that I want. I actually think this is something that not enough people recommend, and I think will just, in theory, give you way less frustration as you are farming your Prime Warframes. Obviously, everything I've just said applies to all of the Prime weapons as well. I just picked Warframes as an example of thing that we can do. And if you've made it this far into the video, I want to say thank you very much for putting up with me for this long. I know that my speech can be a little bit crazy on the cadence. Either way, I'll leave a link up on the screen right now for the full step-by-step walkthrough of Warframe, so you guys can go ahead and follow along if you want to know how we made it this far, got all the different Warframes. And until the next video, happy farming.